It is Independence Day. The entire school stands in silence. The national flag slowly rises. The national anthem begins. Some students stand with pride, some salute, some quietly sing along. At that moment, nobody is thinking about politics, nobody is thinking about exams. Everyone is united by one symbol. Now imagine one person deliberately tears the national flag, another intentionally insults the national anthem. Suddenly, the issue is no longer about personal opinion. It becomes a question of respect for the symbols that represent the republic itself. That is exactly why Parliament enacted the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act 1971. Imagine a family. Every family has something precious. It may be an old photograph, a wedding ring, or a sacred heirloom passed down through generations. The object itself may not be expensive, but its emotional value is priceless. The same is true for a nation. A country is not held together only by roads, borders, or governments. It is also held together by shared symbols, the national flag, the constitution, and the national anthem. These are not ordinary objects. They represent the sacrifices, values, and identity of the nation. After independence, India witnessed instances where these national symbols were deliberately insulted. Parliament believed that while democracy protects freedom of expression, deliberate acts that insult national symbols could undermine national unity and public order. So in 1971, Parliament passed the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act. Its objective was simple: protect the dignity of India's national symbols. Think of a cricket stadium. When the Indian team wins a World Cup, millions proudly wave the tricolour. That piece of cloth becomes much more than fabric, it becomes a symbol of shared identity. Insulting it intentionally affects not just the flag, but the emotions of millions who identify with it. The Act mainly deals with three national symbols. First, national flag. The Act prohibits intentional insult to the Indian national flag. Such acts include deliberately burning, mutilating, defacing, defiling, disfiguring, destroying, trampling upon, or otherwise showing contempt towards the flag in public or in a manner prohibited by law. Notice the important word intentional. The law is aimed at deliberate acts of disrespect, not genuine accidents or respectful handling mistakes. Second, the Constitution of India. Many of us don't realize this. The Act also protects the Constitution of India from intentional insult. Imagine someone publicly burning or deliberately desecrating the Constitution. The issue is not simply damaging a book. The Constitution is the supreme legal document of the Republic. It embodies democracy, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Deliberately insulting it is treated as an insult to the constitutional identity of India. Third, the national anthem. Now imagine everyone standing for the national anthem. One individual deliberately creates disturbance with the intention of preventing others from singing or showing respect. The Act prohibits intentional prevention or disturbance of the singing of the national anthem. Again, the emphasis is on deliberate conduct. The law is not meant to punish accidental situations or individuals unable to stand due to genuine physical reasons. Now comes an important constitutional question. Doesn't Article 19(1)(a) guarantee freedom of speech and expression? Yes, it certainly does. But Article 19 also permits reasonable restrictions under Article 19(2). Freedom of expression is a cornerstone of democracy. At the same time, the Constitution allows Parliament to impose reasonable restrictions for purposes recognized under the Constitution, such as public order and other specified grounds. This illustrates an important constitutional principle. Rights and responsibilities exist together. Think of driving a car. You have the freedom to drive, but not the freedom to ignore traffic signals. Rules do not destroy freedom, they make orderly freedom possible. Similarly, the Constitution protects freedom while expecting citizens to respect the symbols that represent the nation. The fundamental duties under Article 51(a) reinforce this idea. One of these duties specifically asks every citizen to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Notice something beautiful. The Constitution grants rights. It also reminds citizens of their responsibilities. That balance is the foundation of a healthy democracy. Remember the distinction. The Act deals with deliberate insults to national symbols. It does not criminalize every mistake or unintentional act. Courts generally interpret such laws carefully, keeping in mind both constitutional freedoms and the need to preserve respect for national symbols. But the story doesn't end there. Just when many thought this law had remained unchanged for decades, Parliament decided to expand its scope. In July 2026, Parliament passed the Prevention of Insults to National Honour Amendment Bill 2026, making the first major amendment to the Act since it was enacted in 1971. Why was this amendment introduced? Think of India's national symbols as members of one family. The national flag, the constitution, the national anthem, and then the national song Vande Mataram. For years, Vande Mataram held immense historical importance. It inspired countless freedom fighters during the Swadeshi movement. Its words echoed through protests against British rule. Yet, unlike the national anthem, it did not enjoy the same explicit statutory protection under this act. The amendment sought to change that. Now the law extends the same statutory protection to the national song Vande Mataram that already exists for the national anthem. Any person who intentionally prevents its singing or deliberately causes disturbance to an assembly engaged in singing it commits an offence punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years, a fine, or both. For repeat offenders, the amended law prescribes a minimum imprisonment of 1 year. The government explained that the amendment coincides with the 150th anniversary of the composition of Vande Mataram by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. It also referred to Dr. Rajendra Prasad's statement in the Constituent Assembly on 24th January 1950, where he declared that Vande Mataram should be honored on par with the national anthem, even though the two have distinct constitutional identities. Like many important laws in a democracy, the amendment also witnessed political debate. The Rajya Sabha passed the bill on 29 July 2026 and the Lok Sabha cleared it on 30th July 2026. The proceedings took place amid opposition protests and walkouts over unrelated issues concerning the alleged use of police force during NEET-related demonstrations. The legislative debate over the amendment and the political protests unfolded simultaneously, illustrating how Parliament often conducts lawmaking amidst broader political disagreements. After clearing both houses, the bill moved to the President for assent before becoming the law. So, the next time you see the Indian tricolour flying proudly, or hear the national anthem, or hold a copy of the Constitution, remember they are not merely a song, a flag, or a book. They are symbols of a nation built through countless sacrifices. The Prevention of Insults to National Honour Act 1971 exists not to create fear, but to preserve the dignity of those symbols that unite over a billion people despite differences of language, religion, region, and culture. Because a nation survives not only through powerful institutions, it survives when its people choose to honor the value those institutions represent.